Are you the GM of a football team thinking about taking a quarterback early in the draft? Then watch this video. Do you think some 20-year-old kid is going to turn around your billion-dollar organization? Then watch this video. Are you the fan of a terrible team like me and you're curious about the history of drafting highly rated quarterbacks? Then watch this video. I'm a Jets fan, and this entire offseason, us fans are going to be talking about if we should take a quarterback with the second overall pick. We are the second worst team in the league, and a lot of that was due to the quarterback position. It is basically a guarantee that the Raiders take Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall. While there's a lot to be said about the lack of talent at the QB position in the draft after Mendoza, this video will not be about any of the prospects in this year's draft. Instead, I will actually go through the history of taking quarterbacks number 1 overall and number 2 overall. I believe the success of a highly drafted quarterback has much more to do with the position they get drafted into than the talent the player has, and the history backs this up. The quarterback position is the most complex and important position in all of sports. It is a position that is extremely hard to translate from the college game to the professionals, and therefore extremely hard to scout. It is more based on decision making than physical skills, and it is a position highly dependent on the rest of the team. While it's true the QB can elevate players around them, players and coaches around the quarterback elevate the quarterback, especially a young quarterback. So let's go over every number 1 QB taken in the last decade. Let's look at the team that drafted them, specifically the head coach, and see how they turned out. The most recent number 1 QB, Cam Ward, was drafted by the Titans. Head coach Brian Callahan coached the Titans to the worst team in the NFL in his first year. He was clearly on the hot seat, and after 6 weeks, he got fired. Titans fans don't really know what to think about Cam Ward, and no one is really talking about him. If he was in a bigger market, I guarantee people would be calling him a bust and a disaster. Drafted just a few years ago in 2024 by the Bears was Caleb Williams. His rookie season was really bad, and Bears fans were wondering if he was a bust and regretting letting Justin Fields go. His head coach Matt Eberflus, who was on the hot seat after 2 years, got fired 12 weeks into his rookie season. As of now, it seems offensive genius Ben Johnson saved Caleb Williams, but I do think that is a bit of recency bias. He had one terrible year and one good year, so I'd say it's more up in the air. But the Bears are going to have to decide in a year or two to give Caleb Williams a giant contract or not. In 2023, the Panthers traded up to the number 1 pick, with the Bears actually, to draft Bryce Young. They had head coach Frank Reich, who just got fired from the Colts, but the Panthers fired him after 11 weeks. Bryce Young was considered a bust after his rookie season and was still seen as bad in his second season. While Young did turn things around in the second half of this season, let's not forget earlier in the season he was being benched for Andy Dalton. The Panthers are now going to have to decide to commit a large percentage of their salary cap to this quarterback after already committing a bunch of draft picks who really has only had half a season of good quarterback play. In 2021, the Jags made the seemingly no-brainer choice to pick Trevor Lawrence. They also hired Urban Meyer, which ended up terribly. He was fired after 13 weeks in disgrace and controversy. This set back Trevor Lawrence's development for a few years, but his rookie contract continued to run. While not really knowing how good he was, the Jags gave him a giant contract, and while the Jaguars did good this year, and I don't think Lawrence is bad, I also don't think he is playing up to his contract. During the COVID draft, the Bengals took Joe Burrow. With everything being weird this year, this pick does buck the trend I'm trying to show, but it would be unfair to not talk about it. Zach Taylor in his first year coached the Bengals to the worst record, but the Bengals chose to keep him. He got to draft Joe Burrow and things did actually work out. While I do think Burrow is a bit overrated and there is some noise of him wanting to get traded, the Bengals and Joe Burrow had a Super Bowl appearance, and he is the rare case of a highly anticipated kid turning a terrible team around and making them respectable. Obviously, they have had a few bad years recently, but compared to where the Bengals used to be, Joe Burrow keeps them competitive and respectable. In 2019, the Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray and paired him with rookie NFL head coach Cliff Kingsbury, a perfect match, as they both ran a similar offense in college. While the Cards are nowhere close to a Super Bowl and they fired Cliff Kingsbury after a few years, Kyler is actually one of the more successful quarterbacks we are talking about today, which is saying a lot. After the Kingsbury years, which were Murray's most successful years, they gave him a big contract but surrounded him with nothing else, and he has plummeted in production, and there is talk about moving him. In 2018, the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield after going 0-16. Even after going 1-15 and then 0-16, the Browns kept head coach Hugh Jackson until firing him after 8 weeks into Baker's rookie season. This set back Baker's development, making his rookie year a wash, but he still was able to become productive in a few years. But then his rookie contract ran out and the Browns didn't feel confident in him getting a massive contract, so they let him go and got Deshaun Watson. Imagine if instead of wasting away his rookie year and having to learn 2 brand new offenses in 1 year, the Browns let him develop properly. Instead, in Baker's 5th year, Sean McVay got his hands on him and he was able to set him back on track after 5 games. Speaking of McVay, the Rams traded up and drafted Jared Goff while keeping on to head coach Jeff Fisher. The Rams then fired Jeff Fisher 12 weeks into Goff's rookie year after 4 seasons. It once again took young offensive genius Sean McVay to get Goff back on track, and they went to a Super Bowl together. Goff got a giant contract from the Rams, but was traded after just 1 year into this contract. While things fully worked out with the Rams winning a Super Bowl, imagine if Goff's rookie year was not wasted and he had that much more time to work with McVay instead of Fisher. Then he would be that much more developed during the Super Bowl run, or the Rams wouldn't have given him such a large contract if McVay had a better understanding of his talent. Finally, in 2015, the Bucs took Jameis Winston, keeping head coach Lovie Smith after he coached them to the worst record in the NFL. Lovie Smith was fired after Winston's rookie year. While posting giant numbers, Winston always threw away games with the amount of picks he threw, never really working out with the clearly talented Bucs. As Tom Brady was carried to his 7th Super Bowl with a very similar team Winston had, plus some of his Hall of Fame friends. Okay, let's stop here and think about what we learned. We just went over the past decade of number 1 overall quarterbacks. Seriously, put in the comments any patterns you have noticed. For me, there is a clear trend. Teams that are picking this high are bad, like really bad. Even if you trade up, it means you are desperate, which probably means you are bad. Bad teams picking first overall seems obvious, but think about what that means. Combined with all the other complexities of transitioning from college to the professionals, like closer talent differentials and more complex offenses and harder to read defenses, and just the very human element of leaving college, these rookies have to inherit a terrible team but are expected to turn everything around and rapidly for a desperate fan base. This is made even worse when a team drafting highly has a head coach already on the hot seat. Keeping a head coach from the year you are the worst team is really stupid if you are drafting a quarterback. The head coach got everything so wrong that your team is already drafting number 1 overall, so any more mistakes and you as an organization will fire them. Well, I hate to break it to you, but rookie quarterbacks make a lot of mistakes. So firing a head coach halfway through or at the end of a rookie QB season basically means that the rookie quarterback will have to have a second rookie year, as they once again have to learn a brand new offense and completely adjust to a brand new scheme and playbook. Having 2 rookie years is really bad considering teams have a ticking clock of 4 to 5 years for when that rookie contract expires, and teams have to decide to lock up the quarterback to a giant contract or even let them go. Even Frank Reich and Urban Meyer, who were first-year head coaches, were already on the hot seat since they were weird hires, so they still fit my theory. Frank Reich was the rare head coach who instantly got another head coaching job after getting fired. Due to this, he was already on the hot seat since he had immediate years of being a bad head coach. Urban Meyer was also a super weird and risky hire, and the average fan could tell he was not going to work out, making him also instantly on the hot seat. The quarterback transition from college to the NFL is super unstable, so the last thing a rookie quarterback needs is also an unstable head coach who is concerned more with saving their job than developing the young talent. Teams should pair a rookie quarterback with a coach in a stable position, and for teams picking number 1 overall, that typically only happens if you have a new head coach who seems promising, not a head coach already on the hot seat. Out of the last decade of number 1 overall quarterbacks, only one was selected by a team that did not have their head coach on the hot seat, Kyler Murray with Cliff Kingsbury. It is no coincidence that the quarterbacks with the highest levels of production during their rookie contracts are Kyler Murray and also Joe Burrow, who seems to be an outlier. I would say only 2 out of 9 of the quarterbacks produced up to expectations during their rookie year and contract, and it is no coincidence Kyler Murray had the most stable head coaching position, and once again I admit Joe Burrow is an outlier. All of the other number 1 overall quarterbacks took much longer to develop, and I believe this is because the franchises they were supposed to save forced them to work with a head coach that was already halfway towards being fired, which stunted or stalled their development. Okay, I'm a Jets fan, and we have the number 2 overall pick. So let's also go over every number 2 quarterback taken in the last decade and see if this trend continues. We should see that teams with a rookie head coach in a somewhat stable position should be able to have their young and rookie quarterbacks produce at a higher level than the teams that kept a head coach that was already on the hot seat. I'll try to go over these quicker than the first overall quarterbacks. After the Bears drafted Caleb Williams, the Commanders drafted Jayden Daniels. They paired him with Dan Quinn, this being his first year as head coach. Unlike Frank Reich, Quinn took a few years off before becoming head coach again, giving him far more stability. Magically, until his injury, most analysts would have said Jayden Daniels was playing far better than Caleb. After the Panthers drafted Bryce Young, the Texans drafted CJ Stroud. They paired Stroud with their new head coach, DeMeco Ryans, offering far more stability than the Panthers. Once again, even today, CJ Stroud is seen as a much better player than the guy taken before him. Time for another outlier, as my New York Jets drafted Zach Wilson after the Jags drafted Trevor Lawrence. To be fair, they paired him with new head coach Robert Saleh, but things did not work out. While there was a lot of weird stuff with Wilson as the prospect and his situation as a Jet, I admit things did not work out despite him getting paired with a head coach not on the hot seat. This shows the rules and advice I have aren't 100%, but just a way to boost the odds of the NFL draft, which is already a roll of the dice. Once again, with my Jets is Sam Darnold, who came after Baker Mayfield. While he was actually drafted 3rd overall, he is a Jet, so I want to talk about him. Like Mayfield, the Jets kept Todd Bowles, who was already on the hot seat. As my theory goes, this did not work out. Sam Darnold also shows that clearly a quarterback's success has a lot to do with the situation they are drafted in, as he became an MVP caliber player once he left the Jets. Looking at Zach and Sam back to back, it is also possible the Jets are the common denominator. The first quarterback taken in 2017, 2nd overall, was Mitchell Trubisky. He was drafted by head coach John Fox, who was already on the hot seat after a bad year and got fired after Trubisky's rookie year. Fitting my theory, Trubisky's development was hurt by giving him a head coach on the hot seat, and the Bears chose not to give him a second contract. In 2016, Carson Wentz was drafted by the Eagles after the Rams took Goff. He was paired with new head coach Doug Peterson, and they immediately kicked it off. Wentz's early years played a pivotal role in getting the Eagles the number 1 seed, which led to their Super Bowl win despite getting injured. This injury definitely derailed his development, but the stable coaching the Eagles had still led to early success, with Wentz and the Eagles achieving the ultimate goal of winning the Super Bowl. Finally, after Jameis Winston went number 1, Marcus Mariota went number 2 to the Titans in 2015. He was paired with Ken Whisenhunt, who before drafting Mariota led the Titans to a 2-14 record. He was then fired after 7 games, stunting Mariota's development. Once again, the trend basically continues. Over the last 10 plus drafts, the success of quarterbacks who are taken in the top 2 spots is extremely correlated with the stability of the head coach who is drafting them. Out of these 16 quarterbacks, which spans over a decade of NFL drafts, these guys being highly acclaimed prospects, literally top of their class, only Joe Burrow overcame a head coach who was on the hot seat. Everyone else either had their development stall with their head coach getting fired during or right after their rookie year, or they were drafted by a head coach entering their first year and therefore had a stable situation, leading to good production during their rookie contract. So, if you are in a position to draft a quarterback top 2 overall, forgetting about the actual prospect for a second, history shows you must follow these rules to maximize your chances in the rookie contract these young quarterbacks will be under. Give the rookie quarterback a stable head coach. The only way to do this, if you are in a position to draft in the top 2 spots, is to hire a new head coach who is able to spend time developing the quarterback instead of protecting their own job. I'm not saying this rule will guarantee your quarterback works out, and as Joe Burrow shows, sometimes the quarterback can be so talented that it doesn't matter, but I believe doing this maximizes your chances. That's about it. Let me know what you guys think about this video and all the points made and how you like this video. It's a bit different than my normal stuff, so a like and a comment could go a long way. Goodbye.